Matt, you ever wondered like how people could possibly live as far north as Canada? I
Canada. I was thinking when you said that, I was thinking Oklahoma.
I know, like it gets
That's
cold
far
enough.
enough for me.
I got
Too far.
relatives in Minnesota, and I want nothing to do with going to visit. It is that cold, okay? But people choose to live north of there, and we're talking to one today. Let's do it.
That's right. Hey, before we get started, man, I mean, like, I got a bone to pick. I mean, I feel
Pick it.
like, I'm gonna start doing that right away. Uh, you you flew to Austin, and I met you there, and we spent an entire day sweating our asses off filming. And I mean, where's the intro, man? Where's the new intro? When are we going to see the new intro?
You you mean this one? Before we even jump in, we've always, for our drink of the day, plugged inspection fuel. And we are going to be announcing something live there that you all watching get to kind of help out with. And that is that ACC and ISN are coming out with an AI voice assistant. And it's going to be in development and hopefully released at the end of Q4. I'm not making any promises on that. It's not up to me. But we need a name for it, and you guys get to help name it. We're going to be doing an ongoing little voting poll series over on Instagram, and we would love for you guys to help pick the final name of the forthcoming AI voice assistant that's going to be helping you guys and your customers with all of your back office kind of scheduling needs and things like that. It's going to be pretty cool. So
Sounds pretty neat to me.
yeah, so that's kind of keep an eye. Go visit the Instagram channel. It's at the Ride Along Show, and we would love for you guys to participate. It's gonna be pretty cool. So, but Matt, introduce our guest today, man, because this is going to be a really fun one to talk about because we haven't gotten on this topic yet.
That's right. That's right. Our guest today is Nate Boucher from. Whoa, that right? Did you hear that? I didn't expect that. Our guest today is Nate Boucher from way
Dude,
up
now
in Canada. What part of Canada are you from, Nate? I can't remember.
I'm in Ottawa, the capital of
Oh,
Canada.
okay. I don't know anything of the geography of Canada, so it doesn't. Like, what even time zone are you in?
It's Eastern, so I'd be the same
Okay.
as like New
Okay.
York.
So
and here,
like, yeah. So Nate from all the way up in Canada does home inspections up there. Also, a farming guy. Is it just chickens or do you have other wildlife?
We got ducks too now.
Chickens
So
and ducks.
chickens is definitely the major part of it. We have a garden as well, but and we have a bunch of land that we rent to a local farmer who does the crops. We don't do the crops at this point, but our goal is just animals, and we're going to continue to expand that. Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, your
Nice.
growing season's only like 3 months up there, anyways, right?
I wore
yeah,
my chicken shirt.
it's a little shorter, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Oh
this
man,
winter was really brutal for us. So
So
I so
Nate, you have a franchise of Mike Holmes Inspection Company. Is that
that's
correct?
right. Yeah, Mike Holmes Inspections. We have we're franchised across Canada, and I was one of the early, one of the first few, to be honest, in Canada to start off when they first started launching the franchises.
That's fantastic, man. I want to know, and this is what I truly want to get into today. A lot of inspectors, they when they're just starting out, they're kind of flipping the coin between, do I do the independent route, the sole proprietor, or do I buy into a franchise, which
Yeah.
is a little more costly up front, but it gives you a lot of tools and assets to really kind of jumpstart your business if you choose to go that route. So I would love to know, besides how reduced does your home inspection report get with all that snow? Like, can you actually inspect outside, or
Limitations,
is it interior?
limitations, limitations. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Especially when the winter rolls around, like roofing. yeah,
Yeah, we'll see in the spring if there is a spring.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah. But I would love to know, like, what have been some of the advantages and what made you choose Mike Holmes?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I basically had finished a bunch of my training for it, and I was thinking about ramping up. And at that point where I'm just going to make that decision of how did I want to start, and I was transitioning out of a prior job as well, so I was trying to find the way to maintain some type of level of income as well as start a new business, because whether it's a franchise or whether you're going it your own, it's still just launching a business. Every franchise is going to have a bit of a different kind of support system, and it's important to look at that and see what the differences are versus like usually there's an initial franchise fee or royalties or whatever their structure is. So you got to do your research on that. For me, there's really no bigger name than Mike Holmes in this type of industry. And so that was what attracted me to it with regards to marketing. When you first start out, we've all kind of been there where you're trying to market to realtors or clients or whoever you're targeting. And you're like, hey, I'm Nate from Nate's Inspections. And they're kind of like, cool, I don't
Oop.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that name kind of helped get my foot in the door a little bit. And it also has kind of that third party side of it where there's a vetting process for our franchisees and training that comes with that. So that helps. It kind of gives you a little bit of borrowed credibility as well. So you're sort of starting at a certain point.
So they kind of know, like, if we're hiring somebody from that's even a franchise of Mike Holmes Inspection Company, they've had a little bit extra training or there's a little bit more of an expectation.
Yeah, there's like a quality control.
Yeah.
And not to say that, there's lots of solo guys out there who do lots of their own training, but you have to purpose to do that. So the quality, you don't know. It's you're getting what you get. Whereas for us, it's like there are certain steps you have to check off in order to be a Mike Holmes Inspections franchisee. And that just kind of lends some extra credibility and extra experience before you even launched.
Yeah, well, the name definitely helps for sure. I mean, Holmes has been one of the only inspectors to really, outside of social media, break it on mainstream TV, cable networks, and things like that. I think the only other guy that I've seen on there is like Inspector Pro Joe, which only I don't want to discredit that show, but I think that was only on.
It's like one season or something.
One or two
Yeah,
seasons.
it wasn't.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
Mike Holmes wasn't really a home inspector. He came from the contracting side of things,
Sure.
but he did outside of the Homes on Homes show, which was one of the biggest ones. They did also have a show afterwards called Holmes Inspections, and that was more specifically they started every show with an inspection, and often they were going through and looking at like either a past inspection and did somebody miss some things, or maybe they didn't get an inspection and kind of talking about the ups and downs, the ins and outs of that inspection industry. Because in Ontario, I'm in a province that is not a licensed province. So anyone can slap a sticker on the side of their truck and call themselves a home inspector.
We still have areas like that here too.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we've only got 2 provinces in Canada that are licensed. And so we still have a bit of that, quality control that's not quite there from a licensing standpoint. And there's mixed feelings on that, but yeah, that's something.
What does licensing look like up there?
I can't speak to it too much because it's mainly in the western provinces of Alberta and BC, and so that's kind of the other side of the country for me. But there's I think there's some requirements with regards to training. There's an exam, and I think there are some maybe mandatory mentored inspections or ride along type things.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what it is. I don't know that the bar is that high, but if you're going through, like we have all our organizations too, much like in the States, is InterNACHI is one of the big ones. In Canada, we've got CAPI for all of Canada. Some provinces have their own as well. And those organizations have like standards as well. So if you're joining one of those organizations, you're going to have some checks and balances there as well, which is a great idea. But of course, being non-licensed, you don't have to join them.
True. Interesting. So, I mean, like here, or at least, I mean, in the areas that do require licensing, I should say, because there's definitely some areas across the U.S. that don't. Of course, we have to take the National Home Inspectors exam, but that would be for this nation. You guys, what's the deal with code up there? There's no building code, or it's not the same. There's a difference in code for sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have a building code. The Ontario building code. I'm in the province of Ontario, and the Ontario building code is pretty robust. And we also have like the Canadian electrical code. It's very similar to the NEC, but it's Canadian. There's some discrepancies, of course. A lot of the stuff that you'll see that'll be different would be region specific too. So in my area, a lot of things are going to be geared around being in a colder environment.
Sure.
Like how much insulation you guys have in your attic versus us, it's going to be very different. So
Yeah.
I can imagine. Down in Florida, we've got this is literal polar opposites, right from up in
yeah,
Canada. In fact, we get all your people in the
yeah,
wintertime. When the license plates change here, it's because the leaves are changing there. So down here, especially with hurricanes and stuff that come through,
mm,
uh, roofs down here need to be framed and braced in a certain way and reinforced with hurricane straps and or clips and things like this. In order to protect against sustained winds. Is it similar up there in terms of I guess kind of needing to be overbuilt in order to handle like excessive snow loads or things like that? Or what would be a difference there?
Some of the main things I would say would be how we treat some of the spaces. So, when you guys are designing like your HVAC systems, a lot of that is going to be designed around cooling,
Sure.
whereas a lot of ours will be designed around heating. So, I learned a lot of this stuff by watching videos like Matt's and people who are in other areas that are very different than mine. When they're going around scanning things and they're like, look at this, ceiling register. I don't have a lot of ceiling registers in my
Right.
area.
Yeah.
Most of them are in the floor, and because we're heating instead of cooling for the most part, or at least that's our major concern.
Well, and that,
And
that has to do with you. You probably have a lot of basements, right?
I was going to say we have basements too. That was the next
Yeah.
point I was going to say. Yeah,
We
almost
both
every
live in
house.
areas where basements are just non-existent.
Yeah, yeah, and so you guys have a lot of your mechanical systems in the attic
Up
space.
in the attic. Yeah.
Yeah, our attic space is largely unused space. It's usually just all trusses, and then we have about 20 inches of insulation. So
So I was about to ask that. So I mean, trusses. Is it mainly trusses, or is there like stick frame stuff there too?
Uh, for new construction, it's mostly trusses for us.
So
Yeah.
like because Brad, you asked a question about snow load, and I think like it's hard to compare, like because it's not like Nate, you haven't been down here in Texas or Florida doing inspections,
Yeah.
so it's like
Yeah.
how do you differ? And it's like, well, I mean, how do you differ? Like we can go back and forth on that. So let me just tell you, like we are there's trusses going on. I would say in new construction, it's probably 70-30. 30% trusses. Okay.
Right.
In terms of like attic framing. Um, most of our stuff is stick frame in my area. And almost all of our rafters are 2x6, 24 on, or yeah, 24 on center. Do yours differ than that in terms of like size, spacing, or is it like the type of lumber? Like, I mean, I know there's codes for all this, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean all new construction is a 99% trusses from what I see.
So,
I
and they're
don't.
just engineered for the load. So
That's just it. Exactly.
yeah,
I don't see the stick framing. You might see that in custom homes more, especially obviously if you've got like vaulted ceilings or like stuff like that. But yeah, in like the main builders, the production builders, it's all truss.
do you walk
Yeah.
up into a custom home sometimes with stick frame attic and be like, what is going on here?
No, I mean I see it, and it was more popular for us, like 70s and back. So
Yeah.
so
And how
when I
bad are
see older homes, I see it still, but yeah, I think yeah
I would
now almost
imagine your attics, since they're not really much in terms of usable space, they're probably not much in terms of volume either, right? Like you don't have like we have a lot of our attics here are big, big open spaces,
yeah,
open spaces
yeah,
that
that's a
ventilate.
good point. It varies. It definitely varies. You'll see some that aren't quite as pitched, and other ones that definitely have more space. I live in a fairly big house myself. We have a big family here, and we have a pretty high attic space. So you see some of the larger houses. It's just the way it's going to go, of course, right? But yeah, if it's like a bungalow, it might not be as big of a space.
Sure.
Yeah, because basically you're not really using it for anything except for soffit and attic venting.
right.
Yeah.
Now I almost wonder. So one of the we opened the show, we were talking about this down in Austin. The house that we were looking at down there, the guy who designed it came up with this concept called monopoly framing, which is almost a modern take. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, Matt, but it's almost a modern take on the old rafter and knee wall setup. But the way that he frames it and insulates it, one, it's designed to be able to handle, to handle a load. It's sturdy, but it also allows for insulating in a way that basically encapsulates the entire attic space. So that way you can kind of better control that airflow throughout the home. And it just makes it more efficient. Now, that's in Austin, Texas, though. Is there any sort of conversation about encapsulating attic spaces up in Canada, or is that a practice up there, or is it just not worth the effort or money?
Um, I haven't heard too much about that, but what we do see is like energy efficiency is a big play for us, especially because of heat loss. It'd be pretty expensive if you're paying a lot of money to heat your house, right? So yeah, we'll definitely see things that are like, for me, the big over the last 10 years, the amount of attic insulation that you require in a new build has gone up a number of times. So like for us, it's R60. That's the attic value. You go back like even to the early part of the 2000s, and I believe it was like R36. So it's basically doubled in the last 20 years. So that's energy efficiency, I would say. Some of the higher end builders will use more techniques to minimize thermal bridging.
Yeah.
That's a bigger one. Um, yeah, a lot of the stuff that we're doing that I would say is a little more cutting edge with that would be around energy efficiency and minimizing heat loss.
Sure.
So, are you, well, two things. Well, first of all, I feel like we got to touch on this monopoly framing for 1 second. I feel like it probably is at least somewhat of a thing there. It's not really huge here either, right? But it really is. It Matt Reisinger's, who you speak of. He actually didn't create it though. It was actually created
True.
by Dr. Joe Stebrick, who is up in the Northeast.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, we've got a lot closer temperatures way up Northeast to where you're at. I mean, obviously probably still a little bit different, but they definitely deal with the cold and stuff up there. And it's really, I mean, it depends on whatever your climate is. It's just a better way of framing a wall to be able to insulate it better. And so, soffits are weird, right? And difficult to deal with no matter what type of insulation you're working with. But yet, we still want overhangs. And so they build a wall that's basically just like this and everything's completely sealed, and then build overhangs on after the fact. And so, but that's completely sealed and you can just insulate the entire thing, air seal it. And so I can see it no matter what climate you're in being beneficial. So but it's not a hugely popular thing. Mostly, custom build stuff really is what we're seeing. We're seeing that kind of stuff. We don't come across it very often.
True.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it made it up your direction at some point. I mean, it's a really solid way of making sure that you've got a nice tight envelope.
Now, honestly, Nate, it's been really cool. When I kind of joined a franchise, it wasn't a franchise per se, as BPG Inspections. And the whole reason I even have this job now is because BPG would pay for continuing education. They would send us to conferences. I went to ASHI back in the day. That's where I met some of the people at Porch originally, and that kind of
Cool.
opened the door for doing this. But that was one of the biggest perks in my book, and why I went from an independent company to a larger nationwide firm. Um, just
Yeah.
the added resources. So, what does Holmes provide for you in terms of continuing education and ongoing learning experiences?
Yes, that's a good question. So I think some of the initial training is really important because having we kind of go through the procedure or our methodology of how we inspect. We provide like a report writing template. So you have to use the template. So there's restrictions within a franchise, but the benefits are you don't have to build a template. And
Sure.
if you built a template, that that's an undertaking. So, and of course they give us like a base for it, and we can customize it and
Sure.
improve it from there. So that's a great start. And then I'm doing it right now. Actually, we've got a new franchisee from a different area, and he's up with me training. So for a week, when you first start, you are in with an experienced inspector, riding along, training, and so you get to see the houses, see how we inspect. And this is whether you've been an inspector for years or if you're brand new and you've just bought the franchise. So it's a great kind of training. You kind of get through a whole bunch more than you would. So if you're just starting out, I guess you can always do your own homes and do your friends' houses, which is what we all kind of do to get our feet wet when we very first start. But you're there with somebody who can mentor you, teach you how to not just inspect the house, but also write the report, interact with the clients. You get to see that in person and how that works. And then we also have we've got a good chat group, and we've got inspectors all across Canada. So, yes, you can go on various forums and whatnot online, but I can punch in a question or post a photo in that chat group, and I'll get a number of opinions from some of the guys all across Canada pretty quickly. And there's lots of experience there because a lot of guys come from different backgrounds, especially in different trades. We might have a couple guys who are electricians, a couple, contractors, a couple guys who are plumbers. I don't know if we have any HVAC guys, but definitely a few guys who've been around in various facets. And so you get some good perspectives from different people who have had more of a specialist background.
So the ride along thing, that's huge. Like, so that's the franchise requires a certain amount.
Yeah, it's part of the training. So when you come on,
You-
you're basically, you ride with somebody for a week.
It's a week.
Yeah, so I've got somebody with me right now, and he started on Monday, so today was day 3. And so generally, it can take different shapes depending on the season, but generally we try to do an inspection in the morning and then write a report in the afternoon together, so you kind of are on the same page. When we're really busy, sometimes we're just plowing through and you're just seeing 2 inspections or so a day, depending on how busy we are. And and by the end of it, they come out of it with a bunch of inspections under their belt, and that mentoring process, so that they understand what to look for, how we structure our inspections from like where we start, where we go to next, where we finish, and then how we write the report. So that's all kind of there. And then one thing we also do is, once you're out and live, we do have a report writing additional kind of mentorship thing, or it's kind of like a due diligence thing, where your first X number of reports get sent to somebody who does all the report reviews.
Hmm.
They'll look them over before you send them to clients, and that way we're ensuring a level of quality.
Sure.
And then you get released to do your own once you kind of pass
Yeah.
that. So you kind of have that extra level of mentoring. And then, of
Yeah.
course, you can always request a report review if you want in the future, and just to see, hey, I've been doing this for 6 months now. I haven't had to review anything, but here's one. How
Had
am
a
I doing
really
still?
wild house. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sometimes you run into something, you're like, I've never seen this before. But there's,
That's pretty cool.
pile of guys across the country who have maybe seen it in some shape or form and can chime in.
Man, Texas, it's the licensing requirements are pretty stringent. I mean, like, you don't have to have a construction background. But they've lowered it, but it was like close to like 200 hours. It was actually over 200 hours when I first got my license of certifications that you had to go through before you could even get to the licensing actual part of it. You had to get all that stuff. Then you had to take the exams, National Home Inspector and the Texas exam. And then you could, apply to the state after you checked a few more boxes. But the ride along part, so like of those like 200 hours, 40 hours, they called it 40 hours. So I guess essentially it was the same thing as a week, right? But the ride along part at the time, like, and no one ever told me that I could just try. I don't know how easily this is achieved, but you can ride along with a Trek approved inspector and literally ride along with them. No one told me that. And so they had ride alongs available at the school that I was, Champion School Real Estate, that I signed up for. But it was a complete joke. Like, basically we went and we saw 2 or 3 houses during this week. Almost all of it was spent in the classroom. And and there wasn't, like, you didn't get to actually like watch somebody do an inspection. You didn't actually get to see like a completed inspection report. It was a little bit more hands-on than the training that we had gotten previous to that. But it was like, man, the ride-along part was such a joke. And I'm training somebody right now too. Like, I got somebody rolling with me. He's been with me. My training process to bring somebody on, it's 100 inspections. He's about halfway through right now. And the other day, like, it was sometime last week, we were talking about it. And he was just like, he, like me, thought he was just going to open up his own inspection company and start inspecting homes after getting trained. Now, I did that. I'm not saying that I didn't have like any knowledge of homes or anything, but like, I did that. And looking
Mhm.
back is like completely insane, right? I mean, I had a
Yeah, there's
couple
some
of people
challenges
that
for
I could
sure.
call, like I had a couple of chat groups or whatever, but I didn't have near the support that you're talking about, or like any like hands-on, like let me ride with you type experience, like nothing. And I, just plowed through it and got it done. And so now this dude's rolling with me, and he's like, I was insane to think I could have done this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and he's just more green than I was when I started, but
Yeah.
he's going
Yeah.
to be great. But he's like, I could not have done this without the support. And so, I mean, ride alongs really are huge. I think what we've got going on in Texas right now is a joke. They need to step it up a little bit,
I
because
think it's
I think
perfect.
if we do a whole lot of people, they would either determine, hey, I can or can't do this. This is completely overwhelming, some stuff like that. It needs to be they need to do something about that for sure.
There's something to be said for earning your stripes carrying the ladder.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
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 yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
perfectly helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
that's
and I've
good
got a
company.
guy who works with me now as well, and, like, so I did the same thing. He rode with me for a number of months actually before he was out on his own, and he was really comfortable, and by the time he was on his own, like, I know I wasn't gonna have any problems with him. He was able to basically do those inspections with me just sort of sitting back and watching, and now he's excellent.
That's fantastic. It's a good feeling when you got somebody out there in the field working, and
Yeah,
like the work doesn't have to shut down just because you're not out there doing the work.
yeah, that's
That's
it.
a really
You
good thing,
actually get
man.
to take, like, a week off or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
has the franchise model helped you at scaling the business in terms of like speeding up the timetable that you'd be willing to bring people on? Because they have those same resources that you benefited from, or
Yes, I would say to a degree. The I was the Homes Inspections franchises is actually relatively new. They were doing like Mike Holmes Inspections in the Toronto area for like 15, maybe 20 years or so before they launched franchises. So their processes were set, but franchising started in 2021. So that portion of the business was a little bit newer. So I'm one of the first guys to bring somebody on.
okay, wow,
So I was kind of guinea pigging that for a lot of
that's
people too,
cool.
and kind of developing that technique. I came from a background prior my previous job. I was managing a service territory, so that was kind of my background. Really was hiring, coaching, training, and developing new people. Different industry, but same principles with regards to the
Yeah.
training aspect. So that's kind of been a benefit for me. But yes, I mean we get to utilize the same resources, right? Um, and then for me, one of the other things about the franchise was being like a verifiable third party. Um, at some point, if I want to exit the business. Not that I have any plans anytime soon, but whatever I've built might be a little easier to sell
Sure.
versus trying to sell Inspector Nate's franchise or Inspector Nate's inspections without Nate. It's a tough
Right,
sell.
right.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so
how do
that
you
was
offload a book
one
of
thing.
business?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
So, you talk about bringing somebody on, like freeing up some time to take off and stuff, and that
Yeah.
immediately leads me to like a pivot here, because I'm going to be taking some time off early next month to head to New Orleans for the Inspection Fuel Conference taking place the 8th
Sounds
through the
good.
10th. Really looking forward to that, and to that, I feel like we should talk about the drink of the day, because I have something I want to bring up.
Do it.
I have
What you
something
got?
that's kind of cool. I every once in a while, and not often, but every once in a while, it's actually been a while now, but I'll have a client that gifts me a bottle. And so this is one that was a gift. And like I say, if you're listening, it's been a while, so I could use another one if anybody wants to gift me a bottle. This is, like I say, these are clients that do their home inspections, and they just think I should have a bottle sometimes. So this is by Penelope, and it is a straight bourbon whiskey toasted. It's like
Oh.
I don't know if you've ever had toasted bourbon,
Mhm. Yeah.
but and so anyway, yeah, it is 100 proof. So it's pretty stout, but not too stout. But it's definitely got something different going on with that toasty flavor.
Now
So anyway, cheers to inspection.
is that very similar to Basil Hayden's toasted? Because I think they use like a rice base instead of a rye or
I
or
haven't had theirs.
Okay.
But I have had Belfour, which it's got like what is it? I think it's made with toasted pecan wood or something like that,
Oh,
and it kind of has a little bit of that thing going on. So
excellent, excellent. Yet, Nate, I don't. Did Matt prep you for the drink of the day
he did
segment?
not.
Oh,
No, no, but
epic
that's okay.
fail. That's okay. I didn't either, man. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So this is
That's
a
okay.
segment where usually, we're recording this in the evening and have already worked a full day. So we're like, why don't we crack open a cold one or,
Yeah, makes
pour
sense.
a little double on the rocks, and so anyway, what's your go-to to be sipping on when you're relaxing here?
I'll be honest. So now I'm not much of a drinker anymore. But in
He
my
says
younger,
that like he was just a wild one back in the day too.
I wouldn't say
I mean,
wild, but I played in a band for about 15 years. So
yeah, all right.
little,
Another
little
I
musician.
didn't
Let's
know
go.
that, man.
but yeah, I always enjoyed a nice Canadian rye.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, y'all do got some good spirits up
They
there.
do. They do.
Yeah, one of my favorites was like Crown Royal had one called the Northern Harvest. It was like
Uh-huh.
I think it won like a rye of the year, and it was like a $35 bottle somehow, and everybody was like, "Wow, this is unbelievable!" And it was like a nice cheap one that was still really nice. So
What was the one that was featured so often in Mad Men?
man,
Pendleton?
No, he was a Canadian.
Pendleton's Canadian.
I don't remember. I'm not sure.
Mad Men. I
Um,
don't think I never really watched Mad Men. I just came up with the first Canadian whiskey I could think of that wasn't Crown Royal or
Canadian
Canadian
Club.
Mist. Wasn't that one? Have you ever had that? That's garbage.
When
Completely.
it doesn't sound good.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
now I
I
keep
mean,
having
Crown's some good stuff, and Pendleton's great too.
I do have a little crown in the cabinet. I should have grabbed that. I'm just sipping on iced tea tonight because I for the past week have been dealing with some kind of crud. I have no idea what
Mm.
it is.
That
But
man, I hope you get well, but there's an awful lot of times that I'm the only degenerate out here drinking bourbon or whatever.
nah,
Left out here to carry the load myself.
you wait until inspection fuel, man. We will be in the heart of my favorite cocktail, which is a
That's right.
Sazerac. So
Well, I'll
So,
join you in solidarity in a different way, Matt.
oh, look at that! That's a good
hey,
looking hat, man.
As far as I know, this is the
Good.
only one that exists in Canada.
That is 100% the only one that exists in Canada. That is an original right there, too.
He
I
went to
will.
send me one. I asked him to send me one, and then it was such a pain in the ass. He's like, "I'm never shipping this to Canada ever again, so
Yeah.
don't lose it."
It costs more to ship it than it costs to make it.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. That's crazy.
All right, so wait, we've got some special ride along hats that are coming out, Matt. They've
I
been
like the sound of
acquired
that.
for us for inspection fuel. So,
Right on.
Nate, if you can make it, anybody that's been on the show gets a free ticket. We can't cover the room and flight and all that, but
Yeah.
we get you
You,
free
you
admin,
gotta travel
Yeah.
yourself.
and we'll give you a
Fair
show
enough.
hat. Yeah, so,
It's okay. I'll just bunk with you guys.
there you go, man. That's it. One big happy down here in the Big Easy. Love it, man. Love
It
it.
is going to be a good time, though.
It is. It's going to be awesome. Does Canada do conferences like inspection wise? Like I know Internachi's probably got some chapters up there.
Yeah, so I'm a member of I with Internachi. I'm also with CAPI, the Canadian Association of Home and Property Inspectors.
Okay.
They do a conference annually. And also with Mike Holmes Inspections, we do kind of our own thing. So
Nice.
it's still kind of a conference for sure, and we do similar things with extended education, and we have vendors come in and whatnot because we have people across Canada. So yeah.
Very cool. Well, I know we've got a couple from Holmes that might be coming to Inspection Fuel. I don't remember
Okay.
who they are, but our coordinator that works with y'all because y'all use HIP, right? Home
We
Inspector
do
Pro.
use HIP, yes.
That's it. Yeah. We don't talk about them much on this show, unfortunately. They're part of our brand of businesses,
Yeah.
but yeah, we usually end up talking about ISN. But no,
Oh,
you guys are one of Home Inspector Pro's biggest clientele out there. And I
yeah,
know
we
we got
jumped on a couple years back, and yeah,
yeah,
we've been on the HIP train for a little while, and yeah, it's working great for me.
Yeah, we love it, man.
Nate sent me a message because he got an email notification of our podcast a couple of months back, and he was like, "Great, now I got to see you guys in my email."
Yeah, someone said the same because we've been on the back of, of a magazine and stuff too. So it's like,
Yeah.
I,
Well, I didn't tell anyone I was doing this. So like if you send one out and my face is on it, then it's gonna land in everyone from our company and they're gonna
oh,
be like,
let's
what the
go.
hell? Hopefully I don't get in trouble.
Oh, we might need to do a one-off just for that, guys. Seriously. I love it. I love it, man.
I got compared one time to Mike Holmes. Somebody from Canada told me, "You are like our Mike Holmes down there in the US." And I wear that like a badge, right? I have only been told once, but I'll take it. But I did get told that a long time ago. So maybe I'm part of the family. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. I'll see if I can get Mike to do it. And it's not supposed to do that for you.
That would be funny. Oh, and it reminds me, I've prepared a few questions for Nate. So Nate, have you ever met Mike Holmes?
Yeah, I have. He was at our first conference that we did, and
I actually knew the answer to that. I just thought I would ask it on air. I have met him too, but he wouldn't remember. He was at the International Builder Show, and I walked by. I was like, "Hey, Mike, I'm Matt," and he was like, "Yeah, whatever, I gotta go." So anyway, there's that, and that's it. And that's the questions that I prepared. Yeah.
Man, that was a
You really did
riveting series. Yeah.
I didn't actually prepare anything. It was just like my phone screen. Go figure.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, Nate, you got to get your own show through their network, man. I know Holmes Jr.'s got his show. We got to get you one. Come on.
Yeah, well, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing for a while, and if that continues to turn heads, who knows what happens.
Yep.
But yeah.
Speaking of that, doing what you're doing, give everybody a quick drop on where they can follow you because you got quite a following, man.
For sure, yeah. I'm on Instagram as my main platform at Inspector Nate. And I'm also on Facebook as well. I believe it's Inspector Nate. If you search Inspector Nate, it'll come up.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah, I've been following you for a while, Nate. Nate puts out some great content. And so for those of you out there that are not following him already, definitely check it out. You got some great stuff up there, man. You do a good job with the videos for sure.
Thanks. I just try to have fun with it more than anything.
I mean, that's really what it's all about, man. I mean, and honestly, that comes through to me more than when you see people that are either trying to do something maybe beyond what they're capable of, or just trying to be too serious or something, man. I just like when it's fun. And a lot of your stuff is just kind of really lighthearted and fun.
Dude, life is too short to make boring, non-fun content.
That's just it, honestly. And you try and do something serious and everyone jumps all down your throat and it's like, I don't need that in my life. I'll just do something silly. And then it's like, if you get mad at that, you look like a jerk. So who cares, right?
There's a couple of them out there.
Yeah.
But anyway, very cool, man. Well, Nate, thanks so much for coming on the show, dude. It's been a pleasure. And, I would love it if you could come on down to Inspection Fuel, but if not, then, hopefully we see you out there on the road one of these days.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to see you guys as well.
Very cool.
Yeah, we'll have to do a ride along show in Canada.
In the snow.
Yeah.
Let's just go all out with it.
Maybe not.
I mean, I would say if you're going to visit, don't come in the winter.
Yeah,
I don't want to tell you how to live your life.
You got the Mason-Dixon line, but there's another line just north of that it's decided by everybody else saying you need to come back in the summer. Right, like there's a need to come back in the summer line, and it's because it goes. I hear it from Seattle all the way to now Ottawa. So
yeah. Well, when I first started inspecting, I was inspecting privately for an engineering firm, and most of my work was up in the Yukon.
Oh man,
that was cold, especially in like November. Yeah,
I can't imagine.
Like, honestly, man, like how do you get it done in that time? I mean, for me. I guess we were talking about this a little bit earlier, right? There's there's got to just be a lot of limitations.
There's limitations. Yeah. The market is slower. So we know that we're not going to be doing tons of inspections in the winter, but yeah, it's like, if your roof is fully covered, obviously one of the most important parts is inspecting from the attic to see if it's leaking and see how it's performing, but I can't see the roof coverings, or at least not all of it. I can't see all of the flashing. So there's limitations. The grading, you can't see it, right? Yeah. You do what you can. And this past winter, I had we got some real big snowfalls. I had some where I have these pair of boots that are up to my knees, and I'm trudging around in the snow, and there was a couple times where we got like 3 feet of snow, and it's like falling into my boots that are at my knees, and it's like you get inside and you're brushing off and you're soaked and you're like, cool, I barely even started the inspection. I've only done exterior. So yeah, it's a different world sometimes, but
Can't even
fortunately it's
say
not our
you see anything at all. Like it just seems like, at least from the exterior,
exterior.
like
Yeah.
yeah, it just seems like, man, why even do it?
You
I mean, it
see
seems
if there's
so.
ice damming, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the deal. Like we'll never see that here. Brad's never dealing with ice damming. You know,
I
ice
did in
dams are
Virginia.
something that we just do not. We just see it. We see it online.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Now, I did winter inspections in Virginia. There was one time, this is the beginning of winter, where you could be forgiven for forgetting a jacket until it snows. And then you just hate yourself. Like, I know how to do this. Like, I know what seasons are. And yeah, I inspected the exterior in the snow in a polo shirt, and that was miserable. I didn't make that mistake again.
The trick is if you're trying to build your report on your phone, as we all like to do, and your gloves, unless you've got those gloves that tap through, like your bare hands, it's crazy snowy, it's blowing wind, and you're like looking at your fingers and they're not moving. And you're like, just type. And you can't do anything sometimes. You have to get inside and spend about 15 minutes just warming yourself up before you can even continue.
Absolutely not. I man, no way. I mean, I hate, like, it was like 95 degrees outside today. It was roasting hot, just crazy. The attics are just nuts. I did a pre-drywall inspection this morning, so it's like basically all outside. I mean, it's rough, man. But
Yeah.
it ain't like that cold weather, man. I can't deal with that. I mean,
Yeah, I get a bit of both here. It's like Ottawa has one of the biggest temperature swings of all the capital cities in the world.
really.
Jeez.
So we get pretty cold, like I don't know Fahrenheit, but like sometimes it'll be like 40 below Celsius with the wind, which is real cold. And then in the summer, like right now, we're in the middle of like a heat wave drought, and it's like a week ago, I was in an attic and I just took my temperature gun and shot it up the sheathing to see, and it was 150 degrees. So, like we get some hot weather here too. So I really
Like
go ups and downs.
Celsius?
No, that was Fahrenheit. Sorry.
Okay. I was like,
know.
wait a minute.
Spoiler.
I don't really know Celsius, but good God, that's bad. Like 300 degrees or something.
No, sorry. That's another Canadian thing. We like to flip between Celsius and Fahrenheit, and
As if it's not confusing. We don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Metric system, Celsius, like what?
Well, because we got too much influence from you guys, we just, we'll people, how far is that? We'll say, it's about an hour away. And you're like, what does that mean? Like, what is that in kilometers? And then like, what's it in miles? Who knows, right? How tall are you? Well, I'll give you my height in feet and inches. How much do I weigh? It'll be in pounds, but then other things will be measured in like, metric.
I mean,
we're
that's
all over the map.
That's here in Houston. Like half the people speak half English, half Spanish.
Okay.
Like they bounce back and forth from that, but I mean, it's not quite the same as going from standard. What is it? Metric system to standard, I guess.
Real.
But the thing is, it's like up there, they do it so nicely all the time. They might switch back and forth. They code switch, but it's done nicely. Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
At least that's the facade we're putting on.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just really snarky.
Yeah.
It just comes off really nice.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some words after we close out, if we're off air here. Now I understand. Now I see where you're going with everything. Everything was just snarky now.
Yeah.
It was never nice.
I view it so differently.
That's awesome. Well, guys, give Inspector Nate a follow. Seriously, man, thanks so much for coming on the show. And thank you, everybody, so much for watching. This has been great. And, Nate, let's do it again, man.
Absolutely.
All right, good stuff. So, guys, we will see you right here next time, better than ever on
The Ride Along.
Ride Along.